I move to go back into open session.
Is there a second?
Second.
Been properly moved that we go back into open session. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. I will now poll members to certify that to the best of your knowledge, only public business matters lawfully exempted from the open meeting requirements under the Virginia Freedom of Information Act and as identified in the motion for which the closed meeting was convened were discussed and considered by the board. If any member believes that the board varied from the purposes stated for the closed meeting, please state so and the reason prior to casting a vote. Mr. McCotter?
Yes.
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Barlow?
Yes.
Mr. Barnes?
Yes.
Mr. Woodward?
Yes.
All right, we're back into open session. This is the Monday, March 3rd, 2025 meeting of the Louisa County Board of Supervisors. I'd like to welcome those of you who are in attendance here in the public meeting room and those that are watching online. We will start the meeting, as we always do, with the invocation tonight by Mr. Barnes and the Pledge of Allegiance. If you'd care to join us, please stand.
Let us pray. Oh, Heavenly Father, we need you. We want to thank you for allowing us to make decisions that affect people's lives, Father God, that we take the best interest in people, Father God, and we do what we can, Father God, to protect them. We ask, Father God, that you bless our servicemen and women that are fighting far and near. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First item of business is the adoption of the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Been properly moved and seconded that we adopt the agenda. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Next is the approval of the minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Been properly moved and seconded that we approve the minutes. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Next is the approval of the bills.
So moved.
Second.
Been properly moved and seconded that we approve the bills. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Next is the approval of the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Been properly moved and seconded that we approve the consent agenda. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. We do have several recognitions tonight. The first recognition is the VACO Achievement Award, and I believe that is right here. Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the board, members of county staff, and guests. Good evening. Thank you all so much for having me with you tonight. My name is Katie Boyle. I'm the Deputy Director at the Virginia Association of Counties. And it's my privilege to be here tonight with you all to celebrate your success and present you with a VACO Achievement Award for Louisa County's Unified Collaborative Community Communications Program. So we at VACO are very grateful for Louisa County's longtime support and participation with us. We know you all are very familiar with our organization, but just to provide a little bit of background about us for those who may not be as familiar, we were founded in 1934 to serve and support your efforts as county officials. We support counties through our state and federal advocacy work, our educational programs, member services, and our communications efforts. So just to share a little bit about the Achievement Awards, we established this program in 2003 to recognize counties that have adopted innovative approaches to providing public services. We had 3 volunteer judges for our 2024 awards, and they followed several guiding principles when selecting winners, including whether a program offers an innovative solution to a problem, a situation, or the delivery of services, whether the program promotes intergovernmental cooperation or cooperation with private enterprise in addressing a problem or situation, and whether a program provides a model that other local governments can learn from or implement in their own localities. So the Achievement Awards program has always been very competitive and selective, and that tradition definitely continued in 2024. We had record participation. We had 145 entries. So our judges had a really difficult job. They were camped out in our conference room on the day that they picked the winners for most of the day, but they ultimately selected 45 winners from 32 counties. So y'all should feel very proud. You're part of that 31% of winning entries. So I'm also very proud to say that this is Louisa County's 8th Achievement Award. So y'all have a long track record of excellence that we really thought it was important to recognize and celebrate. So I'll just say a couple words about the program, and I know maybe those y'all might want to flesh it out a little bit, so you're certainly more familiar than I am. But just reading up on it a little bit before I came out here, I was really struck. Communicating with county residents is something that we hear so much about when we're out visiting with counties. We always get questions about how counties are reaching their residents, particularly in a time when our traditional media outlets are undergoing huge changes in their business models. So reviewing your submission, it's clear your team has worked really hard and come up with an elegant solution to a really pressing issue. It's cost effective. Your data shows that you're getting your messaging out. I was admiring your use of your real estate on your screens while y'all were in closed session. And I actually signed up for the Informed Citizen myself just to keep up on things in Louisa earlier this year. And I found it to be a really great way to stay up on things that are happening in your community, and it's all consolidated into one really convenient email. So we're very proud to acknowledge your work. I've got a plaque with me to mark your achievement, and I just wanted to be here to convey our congratulations on behalf of VACO. Look forward to coming back later this year and recognizing you again for a 2025 win. So thank you so very much, and congratulations on behalf of VACO.
Dwayne, I think it'd be nice to have a picture with the board receiving its award, and you might also take this opportunity to invite Miss Cindy King up as her efforts.
It is. Oh, there she is.
Cindy,
So
yes.
the board appreciates all the kind things that you had to say, but as Mr. Goodwin pointed out, the force behind the Informed Citizen, the pre-meeting video, and all the work that goes into helping drive that communication is Mrs. King. We're very, very proud of the work that she does and how she represents the county. So on behalf of the board, let me publicly recognize you for the work you do, and I think I can speak for everybody here. You do a great job of making us look good and making sure our citizens know what's going on with the county. So this award is as much yours as it is ours, so thank you. We'll give a picture with Cindy, then the board will come around if that's fine.
Front and center.
You're usually behind the camera telling other people where to go. Where you want to we'll go around and stay there, Cindy. You don't leave. You know, I will add one more thing. This highlights an issue which we probably don't talk about enough, and that is the fact that here in Louisa County, we are blessed to have a tremendous staff that works for us, that provides all of the things that this board does a full-time job on a part-time basis, and we rely on our staff, and we have a tremendous staff in Louisa County from top to bottom. And so when you see recognition like this for the county, we may be the public face of the county, but the people that are here in this building every day doing the work of the people are the ones that really carry the lion's share of the work. So on behalf of the entire staff, from top to bottom. This is a great opportunity just to say thank you, and I know we have several folks here today, so thank you very much. So, anybody else have anything they want to add to that, or we'll, okay? Next is a recognition of March the 2nd through the 8th as Women in Construction Week. Mr. Goodwin.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. I think we have a few representatives who'd like to come forward and be recognized for this. I would ask you all to come down front, and whoever you would like to bring with you. Stand up front. Mr. Chairman, members of the board, members of the public, this is a resolution proclaiming March the 2nd through the 8th, 2025 as Women in Construction Week. Whereas the National Association of Women in Construction, or the NAWIC, was founded in 1953 and started as a local support network for a small number of women in the construction industry, and has since gone on to ease the passage of women into construction, helping to create awareness and a better working space for those who desire to work in the industry. And whereas Women in Construction Week takes place during the first full week in March every year, it is a time to highlight and promote all the great initiatives and work of women within the industry. And whereas this year's theme, Keys to the Future, celebrates the strength and knowledge of women and the vital role they play in shaping the future of the construction industry. And whereas the Richmond 141 chapter of NAWIC are distinguished voices promoting the employment and advancement of women in construction. And whereas Women in Construction Week is an opportunity to recognize the many dedicated workers and volunteers for their steadfast support of women in construction. Now therefore be it resolved that the Louisa County Board of Supervisors hereby proclaims March 2nd through the 8th, 2025 as Women in Construction Week in Louisa County, Virginia, and calls observance to the attention from all of our citizens. Supervisor Mercado will ask that you present this.
Happy to do so.
Thank you, sir.
Ladies, I think it's great to be part of a county that acknowledges the incredible capabilities of women in this and basically all other occupations and industry. It's with great pride that we celebrate Women in Construction Week. And I want to thank you and congratulate you for your outstanding achievements and your contributions throughout your professional careers.
Thank you all. Next is a recognition recognizing Captain Danny Bateman for his years of service to the Louisa County Sheriff's Office. Captain Bateman.
Stand right up here, sir. Mr. Chairman, members of the board, members of the public, this is a resolution recognizing Captain Danny Bateman for his years of service in the Louisa County Sheriff's Office. Whereas Captain Danny Bateman has dedicated 48 years of exemplary service to the Louisa County Sheriff's Office, upholding the highest standards of law enforcement with integrity, professionalism, and unwavering commitment to the safety and well-being of Louisa citizens. And whereas throughout his distinguished career, Captain Bateman has demonstrated outstanding leadership, dedication, and selflessness in the performance of his duties, serving as a mentor and a role model to fellow officers and earning the respect and admiration of colleagues and the community alike. And whereas as captain, a title that exemplifies leadership, courage, and commitment to both the department and the community, Mr. Bateman has been instrumental in guiding and shaping the Louisa County Sheriff's Office, fostering a culture of service, excellence, and integrity. And whereas over the course of nearly 5 decades, Captain Bateman has played a vital role in strengthening community relationships, fostering trust between law enforcement and residents, and promoting public safety initiatives that have had a lasting and positive impact on the county. And whereas Upon his well-earned retirement, it is fitting and proper that Captain Bateman be recognized and honored for his lifelong dedication to public service and his invaluable contributions to our community. Now therefore be it resolved that the Louisa County Board of Supervisors hereby recognizes and expresses its sincere gratitude to Captain Danny Bateman for his 48 years of dedicated service to the Louisa County Sheriff's Office and the citizens of Louisa County. Thank you, sir. I've enjoyed working with you, and I will ask Chairman Adams to present this resolution.
I was 3 when you started.
That's not true. That's not true. That's fake news.
You know, I think we did the math back then. So you started in 1977? Does that sound about right? You know, on behalf of the Board of Supervisors and people of Louisa County, we want to say thank you, recognize you for that service. I also, on a personal basis, thank you for your friendship to me personally, and the support you've given me. And we wish you well in your retirement. And I don't know what else to say. 48 years is a long time to serve. You put your life on the line for people of this county. So thank you very much. Congratulations. Thank you very much. So.
Hey, Danny. Danny.
Congratulations. Thank you.
I'm gonna make it real short. 48 years sounds like a long time, but when you enjoy working here like I have, it goes by in a flash. It's been great. I can't think of any other county that I would have rather worked for than this one. The board has been really great to the sheriff's office and to the citizens of the county continuously without fail in everything that I've ever seen them do over the years. And all I can say is thank you very much, and I really appreciate the recognition. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next is a recognition recognizing Major Ronnie Roberts for his years of service to law enforcement. Major Roberts.
Like that tie, Ron.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, members of the public, this is a resolution recognizing Major Ronnie Roberts for his years of service to law enforcement. Whereas Major Ronnie Roberts has dedicated 48 years of distinguished service to law enforcement, demonstrating unwavering commitment, professionalism, and integrity in his service to the Charlottesville Police Department, the Town of Louisa Police Department, and the Louisa County Sheriff's Office. And whereas throughout his esteemed career, Major Roberts has exemplified outstanding leadership and dedication to the communities he has served, earning the respect and admiration of colleagues, public officials, and citizens alike. And whereas Major Roberts has made significant contributions during his tenure with the Charlottesville Police Department, upholding the principles of justice and public safety while fostering strong community relationships. And whereas his service to the Town of Louisa Police Department further reinforced his commitment to local law enforcement, ensuring the safety and well-being of the town's residents through diligent and selfless service. And whereas as a major for the Louisa County Sheriff's Office, he's played an instrumental role in overseeing departmental operations, mentoring officers, and advancing public safety initiatives that have strengthened law enforcement and community trust within Louisa County. And whereas Major Roberts' dedication, exemplary service, and steadfast commitment to the citizens of Charlottesville, the Town of Louisa, and Louisa County have left a lasting and positive impact on public safety and law enforcement. And whereas upon his well-earned retirement, it is fitting and proper that Major Roberts be recognized and honored for his lifelong dedication to public service and for his invaluable contributions to the law enforcement profession. Now therefore be it resolved that the Louisa County Board of Supervisors here recognizes and expresses its sincere gratitude to Major Ronnie Roberts for his 48 years of dedicated service to the Charlottesville Police Department, the Town of Louisa Police Department, and the Louisa County Sheriff's Office. Thank you, sir. I've enjoyed working with you as well. Chairman Adams and Supervisor Jones, I think you are both going to present this together.
On behalf of the board, Major Roberts, and the citizens of this county, it's my pleasure to recognize you for your 48 years of service in Charlottesville, the town of Louisa, in the Sheriff's Department. I want to also thank you for your friendship, your personal friendship, and support to me, your dedication to our citizens. I do have, and I'll buy you lunch. I will buy you lunch. That you can pass that on, the fact that I own it by lunch. I also have a plaque that I'm having made for this, that's special, but that'll be a private presentation. This one is on behalf of the citizens of Louisa County. We have two gentlemen here that have given 48 years of their life to the service of our citizens in this county. So, on behalf of the board, congratulations, sir.
Before you sit down, I just want to say, in 2002, you were on the hiring panel. You gave me the opportunity to wear a uniform in the city of Charlottesville. You were my sergeant, you were then my lieutenant, and you went on climbing the ladder. You always believed in accountability and fairness. I loved working for you. There was only one time that I was so mad at you. But it was accountability. When I wrecked my police car, you wrote me a ticket for that. It was a preventable accident. I was mad at him. I got over it. You've always become a friend, and I think so highly of you. And thank you. And thank you for just the years that I got to work underneath you at the city of Charlottesville.
I would say to the citizens of Louisa County and to the board members, thank you for your support at this office and for the sheriff's office. And I would say to you this, I thank you for allowing me to serve the people of Louisa County for the last 10 years. It has been an honor. And I will say this, the people that I've worked for, that's who I worked for, has been an honor to serve them, help them when they had a problem, and to make life a little bit better, improving the quality of life. And I'll say thank you again, and thanks to the citizens for their support, for supporting their law enforcement here in this community. It's tremendous. And I tell every new applicant coming here, you'll never find it any better working for the people of Louisa County. Thank you all.
Thank you, Major. Next is public comment period. We don't have any public hearings tonight, so this is an opportunity for the citizens to address the board. I don't have any cards, so if there's anyone here that wants to address the board on any issue, you have 3 minutes to do that. Come to the podium, state your name, your voting district. I will give you a 15-second warning when you have 15 seconds left. Do we have anyone here tonight that would wish to address the board? No? All right. Next is our information discussion items. First up is a presentation from Piedmont Valley Community College And we have with us tonight Dr. Jean Runyon, the president of the college.
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to be here. Again, I'm Jean Runyon, president of Piedmont Virginia Community College, and this is Dr. Scott Jeffries, who's our vice president of finance and administrative services, and I'm happy to say a member of the Louisa Chamber. So first, we would like to start with gratitude. First of all, I'd like to recognize Carson Lewis, who is representing Louisa on our college board. And next to her is also Lola Richardson, who served as the chair of our college board. I want to thank them for their service, for representing Louisa, and helping to make Piedmont Virginia Community College the college it is today. So thank you all for being here.
Good evening, everybody. Pleasure to be here this evening. Again, Scott Jeffries, Vice President of Finance and Administrative Services. Proud to work side by side with Dr. Runyon here. You see on the screen here something we're very, very proud of at PVCC. In August, we were able to open up our brand new Bolick Center. It is 45,000 square feet of fun, of net zero fun. It is housing our Student Affairs Department, advanced manufacturing courses as well. Student Life is housed there. It is the very first net zero facility in the Virginia Community College system. I know we had opportunity to bring Mr. Adams and a couple others. Certainly representatives from the school division as well have been out there, and so we have broken it in. It is a great place to be. If you have not had a chance to come by, please let me know. I'd love to walk you around. And on behalf of everybody at PVCC, we want to thank you all for the support that you contributed to this project. In terms of the capital project was the Bolick Center, in addition to just the annual support you provide us, and so thank you on behalf of PVCC. In terms of funding, just a couple notes here about how PVCC does get funded. It is primarily funded through state funds, a mix of state funds that we get from the general fund, and also the non-general fund made up of tuition and fees. But really, more than half of our college budget is not supported by the state. So it really is dependent on our localities, the foundation, educational foundation support, and through grants. It really helps us achieve our mission at PVCC. Last year, in terms of tuition, affordability is huge for us at PVCC. It's one of the things that I think really attracts students to come attend PVCC. In terms of where we are in this, it is as you see, the average tuition mandatory fee cost per credit hour for an in-state tuition attending one of Virginia's community colleges was less than 1/3 of the cost in attending Virginia Public University. So you think about the return on that investment, and I'll kind of wrap up later on a couple of slides what I mean by return on that investment. So with the affordability here, the accessibility that we have for students to attend PVCC, you all can take great pride in knowing that students that come to PVCC from Louisa County are having an impact not only on their lives, but also in the region. I'll mention more about that later on. Jean?
Thank you. July will mark my third year as president at Piedmont Virginia Community College, and when I was listening to the recognitions, 3 years went by as fast as 48. So last spring, we had a chance to launch our new strategic plan, which is called Momentum 2030. It's available on the website, and it really included looking and talking with external stakeholders, including those here in Louisa as well. And it's built on 3 pillars: the first pillar of access, the second pillar of completion, students that start with us, we want them to complete. And then the third pillar is community impact. We know that almost 80% of our graduates stay in Central Virginia upon graduation, and so they also have an impact in the communities that we serve. I want to just celebrate our dual enrollment partnership and give a shout out to the superintendent, Dr. Straley, for dual enrollment. Last year, by the numbers, you can see that dual enrollment throughout our 6 counties that we serve in the city of Charlottesville, we saved the families $2.8 million in tuition. You can see the number of students that have earned credentials. We have 2 early college programs, one in Greene County and one in Albemarle, and some of these students actually earn their associate degree before they graduate from high school, and we're super excited to have them walk across the stage at JPJ before they get their high school diploma as well. And in Louisa, we have a really strong program with the public schools, and you can see that through us, there were over 200 students that participated in dual enrollment. also earning high-value credentials and courses to help them, jumpstart their transfer to a four-year institution or jumpstart into a college as well. It should be noted that we're one of 23 colleges in Virginia Community College system. 18 of the colleges have been charging tuition. Piedmont Virginia Community College is one of the 5 colleges that have not charged tuition to the families. And then going forward into the fall, new legislation has gone into effect that all qualified high school students in all of the high schools should have access to either a passport program or a uniform certificate of general studies. These are courses that are guaranteed to transfer to four-year institutions in Virginia, and these courses that are taught at the high schools by high school faculty who are qualified to be college teachers, there will be no cost in tuition or fees to families starting this fall as well. And just to look at our graduates by location, we are really excited to serve the 6 counties and the city of Charlottesville as well. And one of the things about Piedmont Virginia Community College, if you may not know, we are second in the state in the number of students that come to us to transfer. The number 1 community college is Northern Virginia, and so you can see that many of our students are doing extremely well. But when we think about the impact long-term, there are students come and they stay with us. Many of our businesses employ our graduates, and probably when you're out in the county and you get a chance to meet, many individuals have a PVC story as well. We're not just known for transfer, we're also known as PVCC, where workforce goes to college. We're also part of Go Virginia Region 9. We share that region with Laurel Ridge, Reynolds, and Germanna Community College, and we are to work regionally as well as serve locally. And the areas of focus in Go Virginia 9, healthcare, bioscience, biotechnology, IT, and data science. So very often we partner with the other community colleges to have a regional impact, not just a local impact. Fast forward, our industry credentials, the way that works is students come to us, they pay the first third. If they earn their industry credential, or if they complete, the state pays the second third, and if they finish and earn the credential, the state pays the third. And those are in programs like HVAC, CDL, heavy equipment operator. And we try to be very responsive to the needs of our community. Because of AWS, we also started a fiber optics program that's also serving to be able to support Louisa County as well. And we want to work at the speed of business. We know that nuclear is a priority. And just recently, we started a nuclear worker training program, which is a boot camp that leads to entry-level employment for scheduled maintenance shutdowns at Dominion Energy. And as part of this program, those who complete it also earn national credentials where they can work in nuclear power plants across the United States as well.
Yeah, and to kind of bring it back from the affordability conversation earlier, is that every 3 years, Lightcast puts out in terms of economic impact. And when you break down where we are in terms of our service region, you can see that in terms of at PVCC, in terms of what we spend, in terms of our operations and working with local vendors and our contracts and just contributions, PVCC has added $30.6 million to the regional income. Students, when they come to PVCC, have an economic impact as well. $3.5 million added to the regional income. And then in terms of alumni, students who have earned a degree from PVCC, they come back and they stay within the region. They stay within the 6 counties in the city of Charlottesville, and they add close to $150 million added in regional income. And so in terms of tying the affordability piece here, you think about what it was to come to PVCC and the cost of tuition, and then what you yield from that investment is huge impact, not only on their lives, but also to the economic engine of Louisa County, but more so our region and Go Virginia 9 region. To wrap up here, Dr. Runyon mentioned before, I am proud to serve on Louisa County Chamber of Commerce board. I've been secretary for this past year. Worked proudly with Sarah on the board. And so we do some great things in terms of getting involved with the community. Back in January, we did host the Bridging the Gap session here in terms of building tomorrow's workforce today. Really focus on immediate needs and also what we can do, work together with local business and industry to address long-term needs. You see our friend Bo on the panel here for education panel. Also on the far right here is our Vice President of Academic Affairs and Workforce Development, Dr. Lee Kenniston at PVCC. And so it was a great morning there to talk about bridging the gap. And so another one that we're doing, shameless plug, as part of the chamber here, we do host a golf tournament. We started it last year, so this is our second annual one. It is in April. We do host it. It's on April 21st at Spring Creek. It is a great scholarship fundraiser for the Louisa Ford Foundation for students who are pursuing manufacturing degrees, credentials, and courses at PVCC, and so I can't wait to see the registration on behalf of the Louisa County Board of Supervisors to participate in this. And so it is proud to work with Casey Hollins, who is our chair of the board, and Tracy Clark as well, who is our executive director for the chamber. They do a fantastic job, and thank you all as well. I know we came here as PVCC, but if I can slip on my chamber hat on real quick, Gene, and just say thank you on behalf of the chamber for your support for that.
And we also want to say thank you so much for allowing us to serve as the community's college.
Does anyone have any comments? I would like to say, Dr. Jeffries and Dr. Runyon, I guess it was last fall that we took the tour of the Bullock Center, right? And I know you mentioned it, but what an impressive facility. I appreciate the time that you joined us for part of the tour. And, you know, we're duplicating that effort with, of course, our center is about 10,000 square feet bigger than yours. But,
Yes.
But it continues to drive career technical education, not only to young people, but to adult re-education. So that partnership is enormous and having enormous impacts. And the fact that you've recognized with the investment that AWS is having, not just in Louisa, but in this whole area, and having that fiber program and some of the other things that we saw there that day. I really enjoyed that, and I wanted to say that publicly. It's a wonderful facility. So thank you.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you all for being here. Next item is a discussion on our subdivision ordinance and associated input from the Virginia Department of Transportation. Mr. Kuhn, Mr. Goodwin. I know I got both of you written down here, and he's at the podium, so.
So if you look at packet page 40, we've got our ordinance that, of course, we've updated to remove some of the requirements from having to get VDOT approval to allowing individual.
Not 40.
Excuse me. We had updated that information, and we have since had some individuals share some concern that requiring a third-party engineer is going to cost additional fees. Something we wanted to bring up. If you see on page 49, section A, we do have in there, shall be conducted by a third-party review firm chosen by the county or on the county's contracted list of engineering firms. That is something that VDOT has started pointing their applicants to, showing that this is something that we require. However, some developers and at least myself believe, based on the SSAR requirements on page 53 and 54, it does read that VDOT should be doing these reviews if it's going to be a road that's supposed to be taken into the state standards. However, one of the things they still require is that a third-party engineer does all the inspections and certifications. So I just wanted you guys to be aware, and if you would like us to amend the language so that we don't require a third-party engineer that we choose or that are on a list and let the applicant decide, we may want to amend the language on section 4A. And happy to answer any questions or follow up about this conversation.
Well, I'm just trying to figure out what I had asked for to be brought to the board and have discussion on was VDOT's participation or lack thereof with not just this situation, but I'm talking about our subdivision ordinance. understand the review of state spec roads and that kind of thing. But I'm talking about just straight out subdivisions that require VDOT signatures. And in the past, they've always signed it. Well, in the past, I would have VDOT, not just myself, but other people would come out, other developers and surveyors. VDOT would come out and make a site visit, and we'd walk it over and pick the best locations for the driveways. Now they are no longer doing that, and it's getting pretty frustrating. Just here recently, I got an email from Mr. Thornton that VDOT is no longer going to sign the plats because it's up to the counties. They can make recommendations, but they're not signing the plats. But we have a signature block on the plats required in the subdivision ordinance. So what I had done, and I've written down stuff here, which I think is off base from what you brought up, and there's another section on here, private roads in Louisiana. So which, you got two different items on here.
Private roads is for road bond, sorry, Mr. Chairman.
Road bonds?
Road bonds,
Okay,
yes,
then
sir.
I'm in the right place. What I would like to see addressed and go back to the planning commission is the fact that our subdivision ordinance, currently VDOT is part of the subdivision process. A signature block is on the plats. I got one here as an example. All that we've done for as long as I can remember has VDOT's approval block on it. And they are no longer doing that, and they're not only refusing to sign the plats, but they will not make a site visit. And then we go out and pick the best place that we can put these private lanes, or not private lanes or private entrances. And then without coming out to the field to review where the entrances are, they make a recommendation back to the county. This one that I have in particular had, I think, every driveway on it located they wanted to consolidate driveways on lot 1 and 2, 3 and 4, and move the one on lot 5 around to a different road, all with not even going to the field to look at. So what I would like to do, and my recommendation is to remove VDOT's approval from the subdivision process. But that requires an ordinance change, so, which means it's got to go back to the planning commission. And what I did on this last plat, I simply added a note that the VDOT entrance approvals will be addressed when the individual entrance permits are applied for at VDOT. They will address it at that time. And I think if they're not going to sign plats and they're not going to come out to the field to review them, then why are we sending it to them?
Great question.
For part of the review process. It's 45 days that it holds things up, and it would be different if they were going to go out and make an informed decision as to where the driveways were and had a legitimate reason for moving them. But when you just arbitrarily say, we want you to move this, this, and this, and you haven't been on the ground to see it, and then on top of that, won't sign the plats for approval, then I think our ordinance needs adjusting. And I can go on and on and on and got examples of what I've run into here lately. But I can cut it short by making a motion that this matter be forwarded to the Planning Commission for their review and recommendation for a subdivision ordinance change to address this situation.
Second.
Been properly moved and seconded that we send this subdivision ordinance change to the Planning Commission for their review and recommendation. Is there any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously, and I'm sure you're willing to work with staff on that as it goes forth. All right. Next is a discussion on private roads in Louisa County.
I got that one, Mr. Chair. Board members, I draw your attention to packet page 55. It's 55 in your packet. It's just a fairly simple draft protocol. So we have some older subdivisions in the county that have private roads or not fully finished roads according to the totality of the subdivision's plans. In some cases, we have some road bonds for those roads. In some cases, we have people that might be living in those subdivisions who believe that their road should be constructed to state specification and that the county has some responsibility to do that, even though it's private property. And this would be just kind of a clear process to deal with any of those situations. So, I mean, I'll just walk you through it very quickly. Step one, is there a road bond? If there's not one, we would inform the citizen that public funds are not available for construction on private property. If yes, we would ask VDOT in step 2 to perform a preliminary evaluation of the road and see what's necessary to bring it up to state specification. Step 3, is the bond amount that the county holds, is it sufficient to perform the work? So if it's yes, the county would work with a vendor that the property owners would choose to do the road improvement and release the bond at the appropriate time for that purpose. And if not, in step 4, then we would ask the residents, do you have an HOA or a POA, Property Owners Association, that could accept the funds, or would they like to form one? And if they did, then we would give them the funds and absolve the county of any further responsibility. And if they didn't have one or didn't wish to form one, then we would, to the best of our abilities, using the available funding, whatever funding there was, improve the road to whatever specification that was acceptable to the people living out there under the amount of dollars that were available under the road bond. And that would end the county's involvement in the process on private land. And so we're fortunate to have input from, I believe, Supervisor Barlow and Supervisor Williams, if memory serves, on overlooking this process. We talked to you all about it several weeks or a couple of months ago about the fact that we were working on it, and happy to present this draft. I don't need action tonight, just kind of a first cut for your review, just to see what the entire board thinks about it. I'm happy to answer any questions that I can.
Mr. Chairman, we did have a meeting. This was just a logical process of what to do, and this is the outcome of it. We don't need an ordinance to do this. This should just be like a policy. What would the process
It would be
be?
a policy. Yes, sir. We
Well,
could enshrine it in an ordinance if you wanted to.
I'd be prepared to make a motion to approve this tonight, just to put it to bed and be over with. So I move that we accept this in the form it's in.
Second.
And we get discussion going now anyway.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
The only question I have, most of the cases where this happens, I believe, is if there's a bond in place, it's quite a few years later that it comes along. So what is their stance on the situation that, all right, probably in most cases, they don't have a homeowners association already. So if they choose to form a homeowners association, that bond is not going to come anywhere near paying. So we talk to them about that up front and
Oh,
let
yes.
them know, okay, here we have a $80,000 penalty on this bond. I guess it's up to them to go out and get the quotes on whatever it's going to
Well,
take to get the road up to.
Basically, they would have the ability to do what they wanted to with it. If they want to just leave it and just use this for road maintenance and maintain maybe it's a gravel road that hadn't been paved. Maybe they just want to maintain it like that, but it will revert back to a private road that's never going to hit the state system, never going to do that.
So however they want to handle.
However they want to dispose
what
of
that
it.
money is, it's up to them. But it takes it off of the county's hands.
It closes the books out. Right now, I think we're holding some bonds, we're holding some money, or we've called some bonds. So we've got a kind of
So
a,
people could put up cash bonds at one time.
or we've called some bonds.
Okay.
We've called some bonds too and said, hey, this is no good. Part of the problem is back when in 08 hit, the banks were left with these bonds sitting out there. And so the Fed requires them to set aside cash to cover that. as well. So not only were they obligated for the debt, but they're also tying up, had $100,000. They had $200,000 tied up because the Fed said this is basically potential bad debt and you're going to have to securitize that. So, so a lot of them, some of the banks have said, look, this builder's gone broke. Here's the money. We're out and let us go. And so the county's in possession of some money on some of these things too.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Given our previous discussion, who's to say that VDOT is going to even come out and take a look at these?
I was thinking the same thing.
I thought this, yeah, that went through my head too. They're not.
It's not necessarily totally humorous there, but a legitimate question based upon what we're seeing. And also, Administrator Goodwin, how is this draft different than existing policy?
There is
No policy.
There is no policy.
The policy assumes, or the existing protocol for handling these bonds runs under the assumption that there is a developer who is going to go ahead and continue the entirety of the work in the subdivision in some protracted amount of time. And I'm talking in generalities here, but the assumption when the road bond is put in place is that the construction will be completed in sufficient time for the bond to be able to cover the amount. And the second round, I just walked over and talked to Mr. Kuhn and Ms. Buckler. You'll see very closely behind this that we will propose an update to ordinances and protocols for future such instances as well, such that bonds will have to be updated using a professional estimate every X years, whatever term you all set, to prevent this situation from happening with developments going forward. I hope
Okay,
that's
so
responsive.
that answers my question. And the other question is, there is no mention of time here. So this is the number one or two thing that I get from constituents. One is, why is my assessment where it is? And two is, can we get my road paved by the county?
Right.
As we know, the county doesn't pave roads. That's VDOT and the homeowners or the developer HOA's responsibility. So this is great. This will give me the opportunity to communicate with constituents a policy. I just didn't know whether we already had something. And if a time limit needs to be set on this.
Very good.
Did you make a?
In a second.
So, any other discussion? All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Next is a discussion by Mr. Kuhn on work group and committee expectations.
Good evening, Chairman, members of the board. What you have starting on packet page 56, yes, is a work group and committee expectation that staff wanted to work on. This is just something to help if we can share with individuals who are newly appointed to different work grouping committees. These are the expectations, what they have, the ability to make recommendations on, what they evaluate, and what the expectations are. And then we've gone through, and in the state code, you can say there's different references for what statutory references there are if they want to look at them specifically. And then there's a couple bullet points that kind of overview what the different legal boards and committees are. And this is just something we wanted to help establish protocol, if you will, for those members that you have or that may be appointed to different organizations and committees and work groups. And I stand ready to answer any questions.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I think this would be very helpful to go out to the different committees. And as new members come on, can be given to them for them to look at and see what their expectations are as far as being on the board.
Now, is this, this is not an all-inclusive list of our, no.
It's the greatest hits.
This is, yeah, I mean, this is, so the only boards and commissions that are included in this specifically have statutory references. So for example, like our Parks and Recreation Advisory Committee, they're not specifically called out on this because there's no statutory language that directly relates to it. That's something that you all established. So that would, they fill into the participation, recommendation, scope of authority. That just kind of fits in with them. And of course, you know, Board of Building Appeals, Board of Zoning Appeals have a little bit more statutory authority. So that's why we want to make just.
So you don't need, you don't need that from us, this is Pretty much just,
I mean, this is something that if you all would like to approve, we would like to hand out to different people that are appointed,
second.
To adopt this as a policy.
that we pass out to individuals. Yes, sir.
Any, any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Coon. Next is committee reports. Do we have any committee reports?
I think so.
Briefly, turf field update,
Done?
weather,
No.
the weather has kind of put us in the hole a little bit. We got another meeting March 17th, Chris. Got another meeting, we had a meeting last week, but
There's some Guinness.
we just need some dry days. So,
All right, any other committee
on
reports?
Wednesday.
Mr. Woodward?
Mr. Chairman, just to bring the board members up to date, Mrs. Jones and myself met last week as being the revenue work group with Mr. Goodwin and Ms. Colvin. And our second meeting, I think is really starting to take shape. And we've already got another meeting scheduled, I believe, 1st of April. And so I just wanted to let everybody know that we're not ignoring anything. We're trying to brainstorm ideas and they're starting to get shaped into something. So
Good. Mr. Kane?
I do have one update. We are 1 week away from the East End Radio Tower at Holly Grove, hopefully starting construction. So once the final comment period closes out, which would be Monday, we're planning on foundation layout to start on Tuesday, the 11th.
Look at you, Tommy. Your radio coverage. Holy
Plan
God.
is to be completed before
Chris sent me
June
a-
1.
Mr. Lee sent me a note today. Much appreciated, and the sooner the better.
Mr. Chair.
Yeah, Mr. McCotter.
Litter Advisory Board has received the updated ordinances from legal counsel and Mr. Kuhn. We're finalizing approval for that, but it looks like it'll be coming to the board for a vote very soon.
Okay. Any other committee reports? Do we have any board appointments? I don't have any. All right.
Oh, I do have one update on the board. I see that Mr. Mandel is still listed in the brochure, but he did submit his resignation letter because it was on my, at my seat a few weeks ago for the Commission on Aging, yes, and I am searching for a new person. I know we have several vacant positions on that.
Looks like they're all vacant.
Yeah, they are. Mr. Woodward is working on trying to redevelop that.
All right. Anything else on committee reports? County Administrator's Report, Mr. Goodwin?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. Really, the only thing in my report I'd like to draw your attention to is information from PJM and Dominion Energy. Back at the first January meeting, I updated you on a potential transmission project that could be undertaken in the county. PJM has forwarded that project on for further consideration. Mr. Andre May, who I believe is with us in attendance tonight, forwarded a press release from Dominion. I'm not seeing information in here that conflicts with the information that I gave you. We talked about the route up the eastern side of the county along the existing 500 kV line that it would likely take. It appears to be aligned with that. This would go forward for SEC consideration in 2026. If it's approved, it would be constructed sometime in the early 30s, I think is the most recent information that I have. And again, along that existing power line easement in the eastern side of the county. So several pages worth of information, again, following up on that from packet page 65 throughout perhaps the next 8 pages. So I'm happy to answer any questions you may have, and fortuitously, you have several representatives from Dominion in the room tonight as well. So.
Any questions for Mr. Goodwin? All right, we'll move on to the lone public hearing we have tonight, which is Dominion's State of the Station address, and half of you are hidden behind the podium there, so.
Chairman Adams, members of the board, county staff. Pleasure to see you all again. My name is Lisa Hilbert. I'm the site vice president at North Anna Power Station. I live in Hanover County. I'm I appreciate the opportunity to provide you an update of North Anna Power Station's performance in 2024. In continuation of our industry-leading performance for over 40 years, Dominion Energy North Anna Power Station remains an industry leader in generating safe, reliable, low-cost, carbon-free power. Unit 1 and Unit 2 continue to remain more reliable today than they were brand new, providing over 15% of Virginia's electricity and supporting your everyday, from your home to your business to your favorite restaurant. Unit 1 and Unit 2 had a combined capacity factor of 96.42% in 2024. This means that North Anna Power Station was providing enough power to support 475,000 homes around the clock for over 330 days over the year. In fact, not a single minute went by in 2024 when North Anna was not providing power to our customers. Unit 1 performed a successful 36-day refueling outage and a 2-day maintenance outage to repair a cable in our rod control system. In addition, Unit 1 ramped down to 95% power for 1 day to remove a feed water heater from service for maintenance. And Unit 2 performed a brief down power to repair a turbine control throttle valve. As a result of our employees' continued commitment to excellence, North Anna Power Station retains the Institute of Nuclear Power Operations, or INPO's, highest rating of 1, and we remain in the licensing response category of the Nuclear Regulatory Commission's action matrix, which is green, which is the most favorable category to be in. For approximately 1 week in 2024, the station did experience a white finding because of procedural instructions not being adequately updated. Following the Nuclear Regulatory Commission's special inspection, the station was returned to green, and the Commission gave us credit to our problem identification and resolution process, including our strong evaluation of the situation. At North Anna Power Station and Dominion Energy as a whole, our highest priority is and always will be safety. This includes the safety of our employees, the station, and the environment and the public. For 2024, the station had no declared emergencies. In addition, the Nuclear Regulatory Commission performed an inspection at North Anna and did not have any findings. We continue to work with federal, state, and local organizations to maintain strong relationships that ensure safety and security of the community of the station. In 2024, the station experienced 4 Occupational Safety and Health Administration recordable injuries and 2 first aid events. 2 of the injuries occurred during contractor material handling activities, one when a Dominion Energy employee pinched their finger in a door, and one when a swing gate failed, causing a Dominion Energy employee to lose their balance. As noted in previous years, North Anna continues to be a Virginia Occupational Safety and Health Voluntary Protection Program, or VPP STAR, worksite. The VPP STAR program qualification recognizes North Anna Power Station and our employees who demonstrate exemplary treatment in the prevention and control of occupational safety and health hazards, as well as the development, implementation, and continuous improvement of safety and health management system. In 2024, North Anna's VPP STAR certification was renewed after a successful OSHA inspection. It's important to Dominion Energy that we not only operate the station in a safe manner, but that the community also understands what we do in case there was ever an emergency. In case of an emergency warranting community action, iPause, implemented in 2023, provides wireless emergency alerts, kind of like an Amber Alert or a severe weather alert, and outreach to media outlets. It will now be used as our primary notification method, and secondary alerting methods will continue. In addition, our emergency preparedness team has made changes in their outreach. We will no longer send calendars and instead send magnets and cards that include information that was included in the calendars. For those that are unable to use the QR code on the cards, or those that simply prefer to have information on paper, we will also provide hard copies upon request. North Anna, erring on the side of transparency, reported 1 environmental event in 2024. It was a bulk chemical that was not initially reported to state and local emergency response agencies within 90 days of being brought on site. This chemical, which was a biocide, was not a new chemical for the station and being in use since 2021. The event was considered minor and did not result in a negative impact to the environment. North Anna continues to participate in voluntary nuclear industry initiative to monitor and mitigate groundwater. In addition, Dominion Energy's environmental team also regularly samples Lake Anna and the waste heat treatment facility to ensure environmental and public safety. North Anna is critical to Dominion Energy meeting companies and the Commonwealth's clean energy goals. It is also critical to supporting Louisa County and Lake Anna communities, providing well-paying jobs, state and local tax revenues, and additional local economic benefits. On November 13th, 2017, Dominion Energy notified the Nuclear Regulatory Commission of its intent to relicense Unit 1 and Unit 2 for an additional 20 years. The license renewal application was filed on August 24th, 2020. And I'm proud to note that the license renewal application was approved in August 2024, allowing North Anna to operate in up to 80 years, which will be 2058 on Unit 1 and 2060 on Unit 2. As part of our continued operating efforts, support of federal developments related to permanent storage of nuclear spent fuel continues, and we see greater interest by Congress in finding a permanent solution as more discussions surrounding nuclear as a clean energy solution take place. In the interim, North Anna continues to move and operate spent fuel to the interim storage facility on site. And we thank Louisa County for approving the renewal of our interim spent fuel storage installation for additional 7 years. The current independent spent fuel storage installation will hold spent fuel produced through the initial relicense of Unit 1 and Unit 2 until 2038 and 2040, respectively. As mentioned, North Anna is critical to supporting Louisa County and the surrounding communities. North Anna Power Station remains a major employer, taxpayer, and local economic driver in the county. North Anna employs approximately 800 full-time employees, and on a day-to-day average, 200 contractors are also on site. During refueling outages, like right now, approximately 1,000 additional supplemental personnel join our station employees. The temporary increase in station workforce provides additional revenue for local businesses, merchants, and Louisa County. Lake Anna and the waste heat treatment facility, built to support North Anna, also provide a great deal of economic benefit to the area. North Anna continues to process dredging, construction, and use permits for Lake Anna stakeholders. A total of 178 permits were issued in Louisa County during 2024. 117 of those were for the waste heat treatment facility. As of January 28, 2025, there are 49 pending construction and use permits in Louisa County, 24 of which are for the waste heat treatment facility, which is an 81% increase since 2023. An increase of 50% was experienced from 2022 to 2023, showing the continued growth and development of Lake Anna communities. There are currently no pending dredging permits in Louisa County. We remain active members within the local community and continue to reinforce relationships and communications with our stakeholders interested in North Anna, Lake Anna, and the waste heat treatment facility. We are active participants in the study and mitigation efforts of the harmful algal blooms, as well as other efforts to keep Lake Anna clean and healthy. Dominion Energy continues to promote the maintenance and increase of native vegetation in and around Lake Anna to support the environmental health, and there have been no confirmed harmful algal blooms recorded in 2024 in the waste heat treatment facility. What I'm most proud of is the work ethic and sense of commitment we have towards our local community. Outside of our duties to safely operate North Anna, we hold board positions and spend personal time volunteering with numerous organizations. In 2024 alone, over $96,000, many additional non-monetary donations, and over 1,820 volunteer hours were provided to such local community organizations. Those volunteer hours are valued at over $60,000 in labor. In total, North Anna employees alone logged over 5,000 hours of volunteer service. Dominion Energy, North Anna Power Station, and our employees work hard to power your everyday. Yet we do not simply work in Louisa County. We are your friends, your neighbors. Louisa is truly a special place to live and work, and we all recognize our responsibility towards being good and transparent corporate citizen here in our home county. And thank you again for the opportunity to give you our update and to take any questions you might have.
Does anyone have any questions before?
Sure.
Yes, sir.
I am incredibly appreciative of the good neighbor that is Dominion Energy, because the Kuka District, the folks that I represent, live around the plant. That is the district in which the plant lies. So we are grateful that we don't have anything to worry about. And if we did, you'd certainly be able to share that with us. So I appreciate your report tonight. Anytime that I have a constituent that has a question or concern, I'm able to get a response very quickly from Mr. May or Mrs. Marshall. So that's very appreciated, how active you are with constituents' concerns. I have a note here that you answered the question that I received today.
Okay, great.
This is a person that does not understand QR codes or does not want to understand QR codes. And for anybody listening at home that's paying attention to this, you noted secondary alerting methods and that you would send a hard copy upon request.
Absolutely, yes.
Thank you. I will give you this after the meeting so you
Great.
can send this constituent what she requires.
We'd be glad to do that. Thank you.
It's already been sent.
Oh, it's already been sent. How about that?
And that is Mrs. Marshall, and right there. Thank you. And Andre. Thank you.
I was going to add, before we open the public hearing, that Mr. May is here and Mrs. Marshall is here with you, and you have some other folks if you'd like to introduce them.
Sure. We have some of the actual staff from North Anna Power Station. Sitting next to Sarah is Mark Hoffman. He is our Emergency Planning and Licensing Manager. Been with the company how long, Mark? 28 years. 28 years. Next to him is Ryan Bugus. He is our Training Manager and Acting Director of Safety and Licensing right now. Been with Dominion Energy 15 years.
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm really lucky tonight to have our plant manager here, Jim Jenkins. And you've been with Dominion Energy?
30 years.
30 years. And the last and not least, Jorge O'Farrell. Oh, no, there's not one more. And you're very new with Dominion Energy. We nabbed him from the industry, and he works in our licensing department. He really helped me with my notes and remarks tonight. And then Devin Payne. Do any of you know Devin? Devin works with our local county citizens and does a great job with all that. You've been with us how long?
8 years.
8 years.
Well, thank you all for being here, and thank you for your presentation. Do you have any update, before we open public hearing, I have a question. Do you have any update on the timeline for this SMR that the governor and Dominion and AWS are talking about?
I do not. Sarah might want to take that question.
Sarah probably knew that question
Yeah.
was going to be
I
asked.
was ready for look on her. Thank you, Chair. Currently, we are still looking at the early to mid 2030s for having our first SMR in operation. Currently, we are assessing the receipts of the technologies that submitted to us from the RFP process that we announced in July of last year, while many of you all were at North Anna. So same timeline we're looking at. We're continuing to move forward and hopefully choosing a technology here soon.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you. Any other questions?
Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir. Mr. Woodward.
I just wanted to comment on how wonderful host y'all were when a few of us came down with the governor, and unfortunately it was a very hot day, which I think we would love to have right now. But it was wonderful. I hadn't been down there since 1977.
Oh, wow.
When I'd been working with Stone and Webster. So it was just a little bit different than what it was then. But thank you so much. Thank you so much for everything that y'all do. And what a wonderful company Dominion is. And I would just like to say this. This doesn't have anything to do with North Anna. But Marty Bowman, who went to school in Louisa County, played ball all through Louisa County, is the manager, is it, at Charlottesville. The banners that you see, the newest banners that have been up on Main Street, they went up on the week before Veterans Day and just came down. Dominion volunteers to put those banners up and take them down. which is huge. We didn't know how we were going to get that done. And all it took was Sarah and Marty, and it was a group effort on Dominion's part. But that's just the type of things that y'all do as a corporation that just sets you apart from any others. Y'all have been such a great neighbor in Louisa County for a long time, and we appreciate your continuing that.
Thank you so much for all the kind feedback. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'll open the public hearing. Is there anyone here from the public that would wish to address the board on Dominion's State of the Station address? All right, seeing none, I'll close the public hearing.
Do we need a motion to accept the report?
Pardon me?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
No.
Just,
No, it's public hearing. All right. With no further comments from the board, thank you all very much. We appreciate your partnership.
So moved.
Is there a second? Been properly moved and seconded that we adjourn. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Meeting adjourned.